Hey guys, Omar here. Welcome back to the channel. This video that you're about to watch is actually a 2023 upload. I've been on the road, so didn't get a chance to do a 2024. But the key points are still the same. Do not buy any camera equipment on Black Friday. Wait till March and just go ahead and check it out. There are a lot of new people on the channel, and I'll catch you in the video next week. See ya.
This year, we're boycotting Black Friday. Why? Rampant consumerism is a great reason, but realistically, there are a couple of reasons why you shouldn't buy anything on Black Friday, and in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what those are. For starters, Black Friday is a scam. Nothing, and I mean nothing, in the camera space is ever priced any differently on Black Friday than it is during any other sale throughout the year. If you want the best deals, then you should be planning all your purchases in March. So why March? March 31st is the end of the Japanese fiscal year, and like any other company, that's when camera companies are looking to move as much inventory as possible so they can close out the year with the highest profits that they could possibly report. Internal stakeholders and shareholders love that stuff. You and I both know there is no better way to incentivize buyers than to drop prices lower than they have been throughout the entire year. Of course, this is going to lower their margins, but increases the number of units being sold, and it pads their numbers with dollars that otherwise wouldn't have been spent with the company. And that way their year-end reports look great. So if you're looking to make a big purchase, wait until March, and that's going to be when you get the best price imaginable. The next reason you shouldn't buy anything on Black Friday is because, being that we've already established that Black Friday is a scam, nothing is ever actually on sale. Memory cards are my favorite example here. They're almost always on sale, and if you wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday to make a purchase, all you'll see is that they're being advertised just a little differently. Countdown timers next to big red price buttons, inflated regular prices next to their regular prices, or the suspiciously low-priced offerings that not everyone realizes until it's too late that it's new old stock from a previous iteration of the current gen. So they're buying something that's not only slower, but it also probably gives sellers a larger profit margin. The same can be said for a lot of different products that people generally are always looking for and always buy. You'll really only ever see meaningful discounts when they're getting ready to replace their current line with a newer iteration, and that rarely coincides with Black Friday. The next reason that you should hold off on any purchases is that, well, if you're being honest with yourself, you don't actually need any of it. FOMO is amplified during the holiday sales push, and dropping major coin on camera equipment or camera-adjacent equipment is usually in anticipation of something, not because there's an actual need that you have right now. If your justification for making the purchase is, if I buy this piece of equipment, I could charge people for sports coverage or portraits, or maybe I can start booking some kind of work. I got some news for you that any successful photographer or cinematographer will tell you, and that is to never make a purchase in anticipation of work. This is a very, very easy way of getting yourself into debt, and debt is every creative professional's kryptonite. Debt will not only make you drop your rates out of desperation, it'll also have you start taking work that you don't want to do just to pay off your equipment, and not a great thing for a creative. Real quick, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and tap the like and subscribe buttons to let me know what you want to see in a future video. For now, back to not spending money. So that brings me to my next point, and that buying used will take your dollar much, much further than buying new will. This is going to hint at a borderline depressing realization that I had pretty recently, but I was shooting a few photos for a video that I'll drop later, and I was using my Canon 70D. So this was my first camera. It's a little over 10 years old now, and this is the last lens I ever bought for it. It's the 85mm 1.4L IS. The image stabilization was kind of a big deal for that. But the autofocus was also great on this when it came out. I haven't touched this thing in maybe 5 years, but I was looking at my equipment and seeing what I was going to sell, because there's a bunch of stuff that I haven't used in a while, in all honesty, because I shifted my line of work. And I took a photo, then I took another photo, and then I realized that, oh my God, was there ever a reason to really upgrade from here? And then made the depressing realization that I could do 100% of the photo work and maybe 95% of the video work I do today using that setup right there. You can find the body online anywhere for $150 to $250, and this lens specifically, it's still kind of a pricey lens, anywhere from $650 to $1,000 depending on the condition. The fact is that if your focus is photography, you can go with almost anything from the last decade and be really happy with the results. The only difference between me now and me like 10 years ago when I was using a setup like this is what I've learned along the way. And I probably could have expedited my career had I spent time and money investing in skill sets through editing or business courses versus buying, more gear. Lesson learned, and almost a rite of passage for everyone. Ultimately, if you can buy used, go ahead and buy used, because it's going to give you a lot more for a lot less. Also, drop a comment below and let me know if you want me to do a 10-year review on the 70D. Seems like it could be a fun video. That being said, for video shooters, the requirements are a little different. This thing is plenty capable for anyone looking to make their own YouTube channel or just take photos. But for video, you do need access, especially when you're working with production crews or a contractor on site, to very specific codecs, definitely active cooling. We all know about overheating issues, so you definitely need something active cooling. And things like that are going to be what drives your decision-making to making a purchase like that. That was another video idea I was thinking about, having like prosumer or personal cameras versus production tools and seeing the comparison, because typically prosumer beats out production tools in pretty much all scenarios other than production-specific scenarios, like something that would require active cooling. Okay, that one was a little longer than the others because I have a lot of thoughts there, but to wrap things up here, the final reason I'm going to give you today is that new equipment will absolutely not make you a better photographer or videographer. It might motivate you to go out and shoot a little more, but that wanes pretty quickly. The reason why I personally kind of struggle to put out videos on a regular basis is that let me give you some background. I learned everything tied to photo and video through trial and error and YouTube, mostly YouTube. Poorly for sure, that's on me, but now 100% of my income comes from doing production work, and I'm very grateful for this platform for that. I think that maybe eventually I could have figured it out without YouTube, but it would have been really hard, and I probably wouldn't be where I am in my career today had this resource not been available to me. The thing is, once you venture out from content covering the basics and begin building these parasocial relationships with different content creators, and good grief, these were not terms like 10 years ago. But once you venture out in the basics, the content really does start to turn into like just sales pitches for new gear. And once you actually start using this equipment on a daily basis, and you're making 100% of your income out of this, or a decent living or a decent side gig out of photo and video work, it's hard to not feel a little scammed and a little lied to simply due to how some of these must-have lenses were packaged and sold through a content creator whose community you're a part of. A lot of thoughts about that, but that's kind of what I've personally been trying to avoid being, and as a result, it's made it a little more difficult for me to put out videos. A lot of thoughts about this stuff unrelated to actual equipment, but the point is, I can't point to a single piece of gear that actually elevated my work in a way that nothing else could. Maybe lav mics, maybe the wireless lav mics, but that's about it. I even went through a phase over lockdown where I was so bored that I went back to shooting everything with my 1855 kit lens on my XT3, both photo and video, until sports gigs started picking up again. And it wasn't until then that I actually transitioned back to the tools of that trade, which are typically 2470 and 7200 for the type of sports that I shoot, and nobody noticed, other than me. So the struggle that I have is that while I do love making videos about camera gear and how I use them, I don't want the positive experience that I have to reflect something along the lines of, you need to get this lens. And I think I did that well enough, if not a little rambly and ranty, with my Fuji 50mm f1 video from a few weeks back that I'll link to a card up here for you. And let me get your thoughts on that particular style of presentation. But yeah, if the goal is to improve your work, then shoot more with what you have and invest some time and money into software, tutorials, maybe even a course from someone whose work you like. And I swear to God, I'm not about to roll this into a course pitch. The things I've learned are what really elevated my work, and I've learned more by shooting more, so go out and shoot more. Edit more, replicate work you like, and then spice it up a bit by adding your own variation to the mix and see what you get on the other side. So this Black Friday, if you don't absolutely need a piece of equipment for work, then don't buy it. Better prices are coming for anything that you do need, and if you're just getting started, do the smart thing and go used. With that being said, I'll catch you all at the next one.